Welcome to another lesson in the Natural Phonics Primer Universal Safety Net for Literacy. This is Don Potter, and I'm really looking forward to this lesson. We're going to be, this is exercise 44, and we're going to be introducing the long O with a silent E at the end. Or some people call it a signal E because it signals that this O here is going to be long. And so we can put, for example, if we put an R here and we put an S here, this E, this silent E makes this O long. So it's going to be rose, and that, by the way, is our key word, rose. Say rose with me. O, rose. The E silent, the O says it's a long sound, which is the same as the name, A-E-I-O. O in rose. And with the R here, we have a slightly different sound, more. And we're going to be doing these together. So we, in our transformation exercise here, we have not. That's a short sound, ah. And when we add the E to the end, we don't pronounce it. It's silent or unpronounced, and it makes the O say O, note. Next we have cop, short sound, a cop or policeman. And then we have cope. Can you cope with life? Next we have mop, like mop the floor. We add the silent E to the end, and it jumps over that letter right there, the P, and makes the O say O, its name. Next we have rob, like rob the bank. And then we have robe, like he wore a beautiful robe. Next we have, over here, we have smock, like what a scientist wears when he works in his lab to keep from getting any of the experiments and things on his good clothes underneath. So that's a smock. And then we have smoke. And so we've transformed this short vowel here into a long vowel, smock, smoke. And that E tells us that that O says its name. Next we have hop. And then we have hope. I hope you can read these. Now we're going to go through the words together. We'll do this very quickly. The first one is O as in bone. The doggy had a bone. Next we have O as in broke. He broke a rule. Then we have choke. Don't choke on your food. Then we have O as in chore. On the farm, I was a farm boy. I had chores every night to take care of my horse and the cows and calves and pigs and so on, chickens. And then we have a silent E as in Coke. We could have made that capital if it's a Coke that you drink. Then we have O as in cone, like an ice cream cone. We have cope. Can you cope with life? Core. The core of the apples, the end is the inside part. Next is dome, and a dome is like kind of like a building that has a dome over it like that. And then we have dote. If a parent dotes on their children, they give them anything they want, which is probably not a good idea. Then we have doze. Like take a little doze, a little nap. Drove. He drove a Chevrolet or Ford. He drove a car, drove. Next we have froze. Frozen. They froze the pizza. Globe. A round globe of the world. Grope. When you turn the light out and you're trying to get through a room and you can't see very good, you'll use your hands to grope to get to where you're going. Then we have grove, like a grove of trees. Hole, like a hole in the ground. There's another hole that we'll study later where you put a W in the front of that, and that means the whole thing, and we'll study that later. Hope. I hope you can read this. Next we have joke, to tell a funny joke. Lobe, like an earlobe. Mole, like a little creature that grows under the ground. Next we have mope. When you mope's when you're tired, you don't feel like doing anything. More, and again we have that R in there, so it changes the sound of the O just a little bit, but we put these together. More. Next we have note. It's good to take a note when you're in a class. Poke. Don't poke your neighbor. Next we have pole, like a pole in the ground. Robe. Remember to say these with me. Robe. A beautiful robe. Rode. He rode in a car. Rome. Rome wasn't built in a day. My father went through Rome with soldiers in World War II. Next we have rope. Can you climb a rope? Scope, like in the word telescope. Scope, the scope of something. Score, keep a score at a basketball or football game. Shore, the shore along the ocean. Slope, like a little gentle hill, a slope. Smoke, don't let the smoke get in your eyes. Snore, like he snored in his sleep. This is soul. And like this sole of your shoe. This is sore. I had a sore foot from running too much. Spoke. He spoke too soon. Stole. The robber stole the jewels. Stone. A house built of stone. Store. May I go to the store and get some candy? Store. Stove. Cook a good meal on the stove. Stroke. It can be another word for like pet, but it can also be a stroke, like when someone has a heart problem. Throne. The king sits on his throne. Tone. What is the tone of your voice? It should be nice. Vote. Vote for the best candidate. Woke. I woke up early. And finally we have wore. And that's wore, like I wore a new jacket. Okay, good luck on these. The main thing is to remember that that the pattern is O, consonant E, and the E is actually silent, and it tells us, but it's there for a purpose. It tells us that the letter is going to be long, or long O. This rule applies to all the vowels. All right, good luck. I will see you on the next exercise.